Wisconsin cattleman takes a plea and avoids the death penalty.
We're live here in Miami at the Sacred Heart Catholic Church for our First Responders Appreciation Lunch. We're going to have more on that and the latest on some rain chances coming up.
And our Travel Tuesday segment takes us to Bangkok to check out Asia's comeback.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A death investigation is underway in Labette County after 2 people are found dead. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes. The KBI is called in after the bodies of a man and a woman are found early Monday morning. Labette County Sheriff's Office received the call around 8:30 yesterday morning. They discovered the bodies at 693 16,000 Road in Mound Valley. Authorities have not yet identified the bodies, but did say their deaths are considered suspicious. A Northwest Missouri man is headed to prison for 2 life terms for a 2019 double murder. Court documents show in July of 2019, Garland Joey Nelson had a business dispute with brothers Nicholas and Justin DeMille. The DeMilles were in town from Wisconsin to collect a $250,000 debt that stemmed from a cattle deal when they went missing. Nelson admitted he shot and killed the brothers at his mother's farm in Bramer and then burned their bodies. His guilty plea drops a handful of other charges and avoids the death penalty. Nelson's final sentence, 2 life terms in prison without parole. Well, it is Fire Prevention Week, and the Miami Fire Department is making sure people know how to prevent fires. This week, local firefighters are hosting a fire prevention show at the Koam Theater. It's a chance for residents to learn about smoke detectors, tips to prevent fires, and how to properly extinguish them. Well, KOAM is honoring first responders today with a free lunch, and our own Chris Warner joins us live in Miami with the details. Chris?
That's right, Tanya. We're here in Miami at the Sacred Heart Catholic Church for our First Responders Appreciation Lunch, brought to you by Service Solutions. It's an excellent day to get out here and honor our first responders, and we thought, what better way to do that than make them a free lunch? We've got hot dogs, there's beans with beef in them, according to Vance. Vance tells me lots of things. He says there's beef in these beans. There's also chips, and there's also drinks, and of course, most importantly, there's first responders out here getting a free meal. We're joined by one of them right now. This is Daniel Allen from the Miami Fire Department. So Daniel, thanks for coming out here today. I imagine getting a free meal is a pretty good reason to come on out anyway.
Oh, definitely.
So tell me a little bit, just what is it that you guys do every day? I mean, you put your lives on the line for all the folks around here on a daily basis. What's that like for you?
I mean, it's pretty special. I mean, I grew up here, so it's nice to come back and serve my community and anything that they need. And I mean, it gets wild at times, but it's also pretty fun.
And I imagine there's some pretty interesting stories you go home with, some that can be a little amusing and others that are a little tough to get through. And what's it like trying to deal with some of that up and down, where you go and you have a great day and then you have another day where you deal with something particularly tragic?
You just got to focus on the good calls, and especially, I mean, we got everybody you can talk to. So I mean, having a good brotherhood with all the guys, it makes it easier to get through all the bad calls.
And what's that brotherhood like, being able to get together? Because I know you guys live at the station with each other for extended periods of time. And what's that like? What's that bond like?
I mean, it's just like a family. I mean, yeah, you're going to get at each other's throats sometimes, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're all there for one purpose. So, I mean, it's serving the community, and, we all love each other, even though we don't act like it sometimes, but, it's a special thing.
I understand that completely. Sometimes you love them, sometimes you don't, but you get along at the end of the day. Why is it so important for the community to understand what it is you all do each day? I mean, unless you're involved in an emergency, you may not always understand what it is the first responders do, and how important is it for folks to understand that?
I think it's important just for safety. I mean, that's why we do pub ed stuff and different things around the community, because we want people to realize, how serious, fire incidents are, and rescue incidents and medical. And if they understand that, then that helps prevent a lot of things from happening.
And of course, you guys are doing a special event this week for safety prevention. What are some of the things you have going on? What should people know?
So we're putting on shows at the Koam here in Miami, and we're doing it from Monday through Thursday. and it just teaches kids everything they need to know about fire safety.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Daniel, thank you so much for coming out, and hopefully you're getting to enjoy some of the lunch we have cooked up for you. So thanks again for being here with us. And a quick look at our weather. I wanted to show the almanac real quick because it shows where our normals are, and of course we're not near that right now. Skywatch storm tracker is clear. We're taking a look at a cold front off to our northwest. It looks decent now, but it's not going to have that much precipitation with it when it gets down here. We'll talk about that later. We got 76 Iola, 77 here in Miami, 79 in Joplin. Of course, drought situation not getting any better, unfortunately, either, but we have rain on the way, which is something we need. Going through today, we're still looking at a high of about 83 degrees. We'll have increasing clouds and mostly cloudy skies. We're going to talk more about your full forecast and those rain chances here in just a few minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. We'll check back in with you a little later in the show. In Nation Watch, the conservative majority Supreme Court hears arguments today on a contentious case involving voting rights in Alabama. At issue, a Republican-drawn congressional map which consolidates the majority of black voters into one district. As Natalie Brand reports, it's also the first time in history 2 black Supreme Court justices are on the bench for a case involving race issues. I apologize about that. And that's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on Koam News at Noon, Travel Tuesday.
Thailand has opened to tourists with no restrictions. I'm Wendy Gillette in Bangkok, how the country is trying to entice Americans to return.
And later, we're making weeknight shrimp fried rice in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Several Asian countries popular with Americans are finally dropping their COVID restrictions 2.5 years after the pandemic started. CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette recently visited the capital city of Bangkok to see how the tourism-reliant country is rebuilding.
Whitney and Chris Mosley from Houston surveyed the city of Bangkok from the 64th floor of Labua at State Tower while traveling in Thailand for several weeks, shortly before the country dropped entry restrictions for tourists.
Honestly, the tourism, it's going to be really nice to have it back in some of the areas.
Almost 40 million tourists visited Thailand in 2019 before the pandemic hit. That was when Bangkok was ranked the world's most visited city for the 4th straight year. But a lot has happened since then. For much of the pandemic, Thailand had a complicated system of quarantines for anyone entering the country, which discouraged tourism. And that was devastating for the economy, considering that in 2019, international travelers made up an estimated 60% of tourism spending. The sector accounts for about 1/5 of the country's gross domestic product and employment. More than 1 million Americans visited Thailand in 2019.
We understand that we won't get back to, over 1 million visitors right away. But our goal is to ensure that we continue the process of promoting to quality tourists.
Labua, which has 6 bars and 4 restaurants, including 2 with 2 Michelin stars, relied on their profits the past couple years.
What people missed during COVID is real experiences.
We got special rates to stay at Labua and Capella, a new Bangkok hotel with elegant design, riverside suites, and water views from a 1 Michelin-starred restaurant that opened during the pandemic.
It's been very challenging, to say the least. That said, we have discovered an amazing local market that was just absolutely famished for travel.
The hope is that international tourism will rebound to pre-pandemic levels in the next couple of years. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Bangkok, Thailand.
Thailand has extended regular tourist visas from 30 to 45 days to encourage longer visits and has introduced a new 10-year visa for professionals who want to work remotely. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon. Mr. Food shares his secret to making fried rice lighter and keeping it from getting mushy later on.
And we are live in Miami at the Sacred Heart Catholic Church for our First Responders Appreciation Lunch. We've got rain and a cool down on the way. The latest. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. We're live here in Miami at the Sacred Heart Catholic Church for our First Responders Appreciation Lunch. We're providing a free lunch for all the first responders in the 4 states. You're welcome to come out here. We'll be here until 1 o'clock. There's hot dogs, there's beans with beef, chips, and drinks available for you. And what a beautiful day it is to be out here at Miami for this. A little bit on the warm side, especially for October. And I want to remind folks that it is October. A look at the Skywatch storm tracker. You can see there's really nothing going on in our area, at least on the local level. But if we zoom this sucker out, you're going to see that we've got a cold front off to our northwest. And that's what's going to be making a bit difference in our weather here shortly. Now, it's got rain with it now. Not expected to have that much rain with it when it gets here. Live look, 7th and Range line. You'd see, boy, people out for their lunch break. There's a lot of traffic on the road. 79 degrees in Joplin under clear skies. But we will have some increasing clouds a little later. Temperatures across the area, 79 Yates Center, 77 here in Miami, 80 in Chanute is the warm spot, 78 Carthage, and 77 in Neosho. Going through the rest of the day, we're still looking at a high of about 83 degrees, and clouds will increase this afternoon. We'll have mostly cloudy skies. There's a few clouds already here in Miami on their way in. Mostly cloudy skies will persist throughout the evening, and we'll drop back to a mild 57 degrees for an overnight low. Now, this is Wednesday. You can barely make it out, but there is a signaling of the cold front with some of those spotty showers out there by Wednesday evening. Not a lot of rain associated with it, but it will help bring our temperatures down. Then following that, we're watching some isolated to widely scattered shower and thunderstorm chances from Saturday through Sunday and into Monday. And then as we head into next week, we are looking at isolated to scattered shower and thunderstorm chances nearly every day of the week. As you can see, they're pretty scattered, but they're there. And then Thursday evening, that's when it gets a little more interesting. We have a slightly more widespread chance of some showers and thunderstorms across the area. But remember, you can keep the KOAM Skywatch weather team with you everywhere you go. All you need to do is scan that QR code on your screen, and that'll help you download the KOAM Skywatch weather app. If you're a little old-fashioned like me, then you can just open up your favorite app store and search for KOAM Skywatch weather. Latest forecast, latest radar, severe weather alerts, everything in the palm of your hand. That way, when you're not near your TV like you are right now, you'll still have the latest forecast data with you. So, now we move on to the 7-day forecast. We still warm up. 86 tomorrow, 85 Thursday. Cold front gets here, brings us down to 71 by Friday. Look at Friday night's low, 46 degrees. And then 74 Saturday, and that's when our rain chances begin. They're not a lot, but they are there, which is a good thing. But you can also see once we hit Sunday, 10-degree jump, we start to warm back up into the mid-80s as we head into the start of next week. As I mentioned, we are watching those shower and thunderstorm chances off and on throughout most of next week, but up until about Thursday, we're still going to be sitting in the mid-80s above where we should be, which, again, I just want to remind folks, it is October. It's October the 4th, believe it or not, but we do have some cooler temperatures on the way, much cooler temperatures if the models hold here in a couple of weeks, but we just got to get there first. And remember, we're live at the Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Miami for our First Responder Appreciation Lunch. Got hot dogs, as I mentioned. We've got beans with beef. We got chips. We got drinks. It's free for all of our first responders, and we'll be here until 1 o'clock this afternoon, so make sure you come out and see us. Tanya, we're going to send it back your way.
And you really can't complain about the weather out there today for the luncheon. It's perfect.
It's absolutely beautiful out here for this luncheon, so come on down, come see us, and get yourself a free meal if you're a first responder.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. We'll see you in a minute. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Specialist John Leonard in the U.S. Army. The Harwood, Missouri native joined the military in 1969. He served in Vietnam as a Huey helicopter crew chief and a door gunner. To John Leonard, we thank you, our 4-state hero. No one said your weeknight routine has to be boring. And today we're making shrimp fried rice, and Howard shares his secret to making it stand apart. We're making weeknight shrimp fried rice in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Well, it's that time of year. The kids have been back to school for a while, and most of us are settling into our fall routines. But just because life is routine doesn't mean dinner should be boring. To keep things fresh, we came up with a new Asian-inspired dish that's fresh and tasty. It's fried rice and it goes together like this. The first thing we do is cook and cool some long grain white rice. Cooling this makes our fried rice lighter and less mushy later on. While that cools, we scramble a couple of eggs and set them aside. Now, in the same wok or skillet, we heat some sesame oil and stir fry our cooled rice until it starts to brown. Next, we add some peas and carrots, a bit of garlic, some soy sauce, and a touch of black pepper. Once all the flavors come together, we add in our shrimp and we'll stir fry that until it's cooked through. Add in the cooked eggs and some scallions and you have a fill-you-up all-in-one dish that's ready in no time and is takeout fancy. And since it's packed with veggies and protein, it's mom approved. To get the recipe for our weeknight shrimp fried rice, just visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a shrimptacular way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
So the secret is to cool it before you cook it. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
Once again, we are live here in Miami at the Sacred Heart Catholic Church, right just north of the Walmart here in town. First responders across the area, you've still got 30 minutes to come out here and get yourself a free lunch brought to you by Service Solutions. We're doing this for all of our first responders today. We've got a great meal out here, hot dogs, baked beans, chips, and a drink for you, and it's all free. It's our way of saying thank you for all that you do. We have another thank you for the 4 states as a whole as we've got a cold front coming in. Taking a look at the 7-day forecast. Still a few unseasonably warm days ahead of us. 86 Wednesday, 85 Thursday, and then that cold front hits Friday. 71, then we watch increasing rain chances heading into the weekend before we start to warm up again back into the mid-80s.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. I guess you're going to be out there until 1, so make sure you get a hot dog yourself. All right, thanks. Well, coming up tonight at 5, health experts are gathering in Washington to discuss what this year's flu season might look like. In Health Watch, why experts are urging people to get vaccines for both COVID and the flu. Plus, the mother of a 4th grade Chanute student removes her child from school after allegations of bullying against her child. And volunteers with Pittsburgh Beautiful are busy around the city preparing for fall flowers. Join us for those stories and much more tonight on the KOAM News at 5. And thank you for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.